Hello everyone, I'm absolutely delighted to be invited back to present at the Sparx EA Global Summit 2024. Thanks so much to the Sparx Prolaborate team for organising this event once again. For my presentation today, I'm going to talk about using Enterprise Architect combined with ArchiMate and BPMN to create a comprehensive business architecture. I'm going to focus on an approach that can help to align business processes with strategic objectives and can assist with understanding the impact of change. We will emphasize the importance of having a well-defined metamodel and agreed set of ArchiMate viewpoints at the outset of the project. We'll make use of two separate industry standard notations. High-level architecture views will be modelled using ArchiMate, and these will be combined with detailed business process maps created using BPMN. This will provide our organisation with a solid understanding of their business architecture. We join our fictional company, Flower Power, once again. As you may already know, Flower Power recently expanded their business through the strategic acquisition of two other flower growing companies, Lily Fresh, who focus on the funeral market, and Rose Petals, who focus on weddings and christenings. They have already started to rationalise their application landscape, but now they wish to document, understand, and simplify their business architecture. Each organisation started with a different business focus, and Flower Power now wish to consolidate and grow their new integrated business. The management team have appointed a small business architecture team and hired an experienced consultant from Hippo to offer advice and to help them construct a model of their business. Hippo recommended using Sparx Systems Enterprise Architect for this modelling effort. An interconnected model in a case tool environment is essential to understand and analyse the complex dependencies between capabilities, people, business processes, and applications. Furthermore, Prolaborate can then be used as a front end to publish, review, and visualize all of the model data captured in Enterprise Architect, using a combination of diagrams and graphs and charts to offer additional meaning and accessibility to the wider business architects. Hippo always recommend establishing a meta model as early in the modelling endeavour as possible. They encourage the Flower Power business architects to agree and document the subset of ArchiMate and BPMN notation that they wish to incorporate into their model. These guidelines will help to ensure a consistent approach is taken by our team and results in a model that is quicker to create and easier to maintain. It also ensures that the diagrams are simpler for the wide set of stakeholders to understand. The team documents their meta model using generic ArchiMate elements and relationships, which can be easily consumed and understood by everyone. So for example, each capability will realise a number of courses of actions to improve that capability, and each capability will be supported by and realised by a set of business processes and a group of application components. Superimposed on top of the elements and relationships, we add boundary boxes to show each ArchiMate viewpoint that will be constructed. For example, the organisation view will show a hierarchy of business actors to model the organisation structure, and these will be assigned to their respective business roles. The larger process view will focus on each business process, reusing the roles and actors to indicate the roles that are assigned to carry out a business process, and document the application components that serve each of the business processes. The aim is always to keep the metamodel as simple as possible while still addressing the key architecture goals. There's a number of different use cases addressed by our business architecture viewpoints. The management team, they wish to map out a full set of current and desired capabilities for their organisation. This allows them to highlight new capabilities that they have inherited through acquisition and assess these alongside their core organisational abilities. They can then plan strategies to improve selected capabilities, and these will lead to both tactical and strategic project plans. In addition, they wish to cross-reference their capabilities to existing or new business processes and applications. Our business architects also wish to create an organisation view to model the company structure and to document all of the business roles. They will also catalogue all of the current business processes and group them by high-level business functions. And then they will take each business process in turn and create a process view to understand the business process at a high level by connecting it to the actors and roles responsible for carrying out that process, as well as the applications used to support and implement the process. For each of our business processes, the business architects will create a more detailed process map using BPMN notation. Hippo does not advise mixing notations on a single diagram. However, it is very common to use ArchiMate at the high level for the overall architecture, and then link down into more detailed notation like BPMN. Again, at the outset of the project, the team agree a subset of BPMN notation to use for their detailed process maps. They create this guidelines diagram to document and communicate those standards. BPMN is very rich notation with potentially lots of different symbols. However, Hippo explain that it's better to keep these diagrams simple and straightforward, as they wish them to be easily understood by all stakeholders. These detailed BPMN diagrams allow Flower Power business architects to document events that trigger processes with a clock icon for time-triggered processes and an envelope icon for message-triggered processes. Activity steps can then be added, user activities for tasks that use software applications, manual activities for manual steps, service activities for system automated steps, and sub-processes to document complex activities using a lower level BPMN diagram. Gateways can also be added to show decision points and various paths through the logic of the process. Exclusive gateways, where only one path is followed. Parallel gateways, where all paths are followed. And inclusive gateways, where one or more paths are followed. They can also add intermediate events to show interrupts within a process, with a clock icon for time delays and an envelope icon for messages being sent or received. These elements are all placed within a pool to represent the organization, and lanes, a hierarchy of lanes, to represent each actor and role within the organization. Having BPMN notation well defined on a single guidelines diagram helps the architects to conform to a consistent and straightforward standard. And this diagram can also be shared with any stakeholders who will be reviewing the detailed business process maps, so that they can understand and interpret the diagrams easily. Hippo helped Flower Power to create an MDG technology to formally define their ArchiMate elements and any custom properties they might like to use. Initially, tagged values can be used to manually add custom properties to ArchiMate elements. So from the settings ribbon, we can go into model types and use the tagged values page to create our custom properties. For example, we've added an enum tagged value called maturity level, which defines a custom property that can be manually added to each capability. There can be a range of values available to allow us to indicate if it's a new capability, or to assess the maturity level as low, medium or high. And this will be available from a drop-down list associated with the element. This allows our architects to record their assessment of the capability's level of maturity. This is a very simple way of getting started. However, the power of having an MDG technology is to automatically add the desired tagged values to each ArchiMate element. Creating an MDG technology is a fairly technical step, so it's often best to watch a few video tutorials, or perhaps attend a training course to learn how to do this. Hippo Software run a one-day public workshop on this topic. Alternatively, customers can ask their local Sparx partner to assist. And the Sparx Prolaborate team also have some MDG accelerators to help you get started quickly and easily. So just to give you a brief overview, there are 4 main steps involved in setting up an MDG technology. Step 1, we have to define our new element stereotypes. And to do this for ArchiMate elements, we will extend the underlying UML metaclass and then inherit from the ArchiMate metaclass. We can also set the default color for each of our stereotypes, perhaps to match the standard ArchiMate colors being used. And then we can add our predefined tagged values to our new stereotype. And this allows us to say that each capability, for example, will have a maturity level tagged value. If there are a lot of custom properties to be added, we can create tag groups to organize those custom properties. Step 2 is to define the valid relationships permitted between your custom elements. And this will dictate which relationships appear on the quick linker and just helps to make it so much easier for your architects to always create consistent relationships between their elements. Step 3, we create our own set of custom toolbox pages containing all of the custom elements and valid relationships. We can add each of our stereotypes into the toolbox pages and then set an appropriate alias, and this will appear as the name on the toolbox that we create. Step 4 is to create our own custom diagram, and we will then associate this diagram with the custom toolbox that we created earlier. So now, when we create or open a Flower Power custom diagram, we will be able to see a simple focused toolbox that only contains the relevant elements and relationships that's been agreed in the meta model. So now the real work starts. The business architects initially create a capability map for their senior management team to document the hierarchy of
Gillian,
existing. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We are not able to see your screen.
Oh,
Just a few seconds back.
oh, apologies. I will share my screen again. And let me
Okay.
just quickly recap then on the custom toolbox, which you can see open now, and the fact that that is a very focused custom toolbox with only the elements and relationships that are required by the meta model. So now we're going to look at the creation of the capability map for the senior management team. Each capability on this map represents a strategic ability of the organisation and delivers significant business benefit. We have an aggregation relationship from our high-level capability to our more detailed capabilities. However, on the diagram, we are using nesting to ensure that the diagram is kept very simple. We're reducing the amount of technical notation, making it more accessible for our wider audience. Each capability is assessed in terms of its maturity level. So in our MDG, we added a maturity level custom property, and we can then assess each capability and set the maturity level to the appropriate value. This means that we can now add a diagram legend to auto-color our capability map based on the maturity level. This is done by using the auto color feature at the top right of the legend dialog, filtering the legend to look at the maturity level tagged value, and then setting each of the values associated with a different color. So our new capabilities are green, our low maturity ones white, medium maturity a lighter blue, and high maturity in a darker blue. So now when we set the maturity level property, the colour automatically updates and reflects the level of maturity. And this gives our senior managers a very quick way to be able to focus on new capabilities such as digital marketing, or those with a lower level of maturity like our website sales. Each capability that could benefit from improvement can have a strategy view created, and this strategy view will add as a composite diagram. So we can right click and set this to be a new child diagram, select the composite diagram using the browser, and then we're able to very easily navigate by double clicking on the capability down to the strategy diagram associated with that capability. And this allows us to then start to explore the plans that we might have for that capability. The new digital marketing capability requires some courses of action to be taken to implement this capability. To introduce the capability, our architects indicate that we have to define the new marketing role and then recruit an expert, set up and understand the processes, acquire some helpful tools, and then develop and deliver some internal training. If we now look at website sales and the strategy that we have here, this is an existing capability, but not the strongest one at Flower Power. So the architects identify the existing business processes that realize or implement this capability, and also the applications that implement the capability as well. And they add a realize relationship from each application and from each business process to the capability. The team then create courses of action that they identify to improve this capability. It's been identified that the user journey could be improved. The current website requires the customer to create each new order from scratch. Feedback from customers has suggested that they would like to be able to create repeat orders based on their previous history of orders. In fact, there's an opportunity to promote special offers to customers based on their buying history. And in addition, customers currently only receive confirmation by email. Many customers wish to receive more regular updates by text on their mobile phones, in addition to the email correspondence. Understanding traceability between capabilities and core elements like business processes and applications is very helpful to senior managers. In Enterprise Architect, they can use the traceability window, select a capability, and see all of the associated business processes and associated applications. They can also look at specific applications and see which processes those are being used for, and also which capabilities those are associated with. And they can explore the business processes and understand, again, the capabilities that those are being able to help and assist with. In addition to the traceability window, we also have the relationship matrix available in Enterprise Architect. And this can be a great way to visualize the connections between the elements in our model. So, for example, this matrix profile is configured to show the application components as the source and the capabilities as the target across the top. We are viewing with the green arrows all the realization relationships that already exist. It's a very succinct way of cross-referencing the elements in our model and also checking for completeness. From the options dialog, we can highlight any elements without relationships. And this will show us any empty rows highlighted in blue and empty columns highlighted in pink, which can help us to spot potential gaps in our model. We can even use the matrix to add relationships into the model as well. So we can right-click in this cell and create an additional realization relationship. Clearly, we've just started the iterative process of mapping applications to capabilities, and there are still additional applications to be identified and added into this model. We can set up any number of matrix profiles. So we could map processes to capabilities, processes to applications, processes to roles, or processes to functions, for example, and easily switch between those different profiles. Our business architects also wish to document their organization structure. They identify the various teams within the organization and start to document all the different roles within the teams. Again, nesting is used to avoid too much technical notation on the diagram, but to ensure that we get the traceability and connections between the elements, we actually have an aggregation relationship from the overall company business actor to each team, and we have an assignment relationship from each team to the various roles. We have decided to show the roles using the icon look and feel, just to make them more distinctive and differentiate them clearly from the business actors. As a result of our MDG technology, we've added a business area custom property to each of the roles and teams, so we can indicate the business area that each belongs to, and this allows us to also color code this diagram by business area using a diagram legend. These business actors and roles in our catalogue here will be reused on the various business process views so that we can document which teams and roles are responsible for carrying out each of our processes. Typically, companies will have a large number of business processes. Therefore, to organise and access them, we need to categorise them. High-level business functions can be used for this purpose. Each business process is identified and allocated to the appropriate business function using aggregation. And again, you can see we're reusing our business area legend to color code this diagram as well. We can then have a composite diagram created so that we can quickly and easily navigate to the process view for each of our business processes. Each business process has its own architecture diagram, which will document its immediate sub-processes, also connect the processes to the appropriate roles and actors responsible for implementing those processes. In addition, we can identify the application components responsible for supporting those processes. We can drag and drop application components onto the diagram, and we can add serving relationships. Try again. We can add serving relationships from the application components to each of the business processes. To understand any of these business processes in more detail, our architects can create a BPMN diagram, a more detailed business process map, to document the events, steps, decisions and responsibilities within that process. Again, a composite link allows us to simply double-click on the process and navigate down into the detailed BPMN diagram, and a hyperlink can be added to navigate back up into the architecture again. Our detailed BPMN process map contains swim lanes for each business actor and role involved in the process. So these activities are placed into the buyer swim lane to show that our customer uses the Flower Power website to make their purchase and all the steps that are involved. Each decision and activity in the process are connected together by control flow lines to indicate the sequence in which these activities are carried out. Where we need to go into even more detail, we can add a sub-process into our map and then double-click to navigate down into an even lower level BPMN diagram. So we can progressively go from the high level down into more and more detail. And then using a hyperlink, we can quickly and easily navigate back up to our main BPMN diagram and navigate back up to our business architecture again. Now, to effectively share all of these business architecture and BPMN diagrams that we've been creating in Enterprise Architect, we can create a dashboard in Prolaborate. Prolaborate allows the Flower Power stakeholders to view our business architecture using any standard browser. The dashboard can provide access to the set of diagrams that we've been creating in Enterprise Architect. So for example, we have shared our diagrams using a simple diagram widget. We give access to our landing page for the architecture model, and now we can use our navigation cells to navigate into the capability map. We can double click on a capability to navigate down and look at our strategy for this capability and all the processes and applications that help us to implement this capability. We can further navigate into the architecture view of any of our processes, and then we can go from there down into the detailed business process diagrams to see all the detailed steps involved and navigate down further into the detail. And of course use the hyperlinks to navigate back up into the architecture again. So the whole stack of diagrams that we've created in Enterprise Architect become available to our wider stakeholder audience, and they can interact and navigate around them very easily. They can even select any of these specific elements, like this business process, for example, and a panel will appear showing all of the properties associated with this process. If we provide our stakeholders with permission, they can even edit some of the properties associated with these elements, or we can simply make this a view-only option to see the properties. We can click on the Open button to open up a dedicated.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We are seeing your EA screen. We want to see your Prolaborate screen to do the.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you for letting me know.
That's
Let
okay.
me quickly reshare because that must have gone wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Judy. Did you see me navigate around the diagrams in Prolaborate at all? I might just quickly do that again, just to make sure
just few seconds. I think it
Okay.
should be good. Yeah.
Thank you.
If
So
you
we
just
have
redo the steps for few seconds back, it should be good. It should cover that.
fantastic. Thank you very much. So we have
Thank
here the Prolaborate dashboard that we've created, and it's tied to the underlying Enterprise Architect model that we've just been looking at. It can be viewed on any standard browser at all. So we can have a diagram widget, such as this one, that gives us access to all the diagrams that we've created in Enterprise Architect. And we can use all the navigation mechanisms that we built into EA. So from our landing page, I can easily double click on a navigation cell and navigate down to my capability map. I can double click to navigate into the strategy for a specific capability and see all the applications and processes that support that capability. I can double click on a process and see the architecture diagram associated with my process, navigate down to the detailed BPMN diagrams using the composite mechanism, and I can then navigate back up through the hierarchy using the hyperlinks that I've built into my model. So very, very easy for the stakeholders to use any browser to connect to the model and then to navigate up and down through the stack of diagrams that we have created. I can then select any element in the model and see all the properties associated with that element. And if I give permission to do so, I can even edit some of those properties. I can click on the Open button to open up a page that is dedicated to this business process and see all of the diagrams where this element is being used, I can quickly and easily switch to any of those diagrams, and also see the traceability, all the connections that exist to other elements in the model. I can even click on the Discuss button and start to interact with the Flower Power architecture team. I can start a discussion about this element or leave a review comment for them to address. So the dashboard not only allows me to access the diagrams, I can have, say, a list of elements that I want them to be able to see. Here, for example, is a list of all the capabilities with their associated significant attributes. And we can create lots of very helpful graphs and charts in Prolaborate. So for example, we have a simple bar chart of the capabilities based on their maturity level. I can click on the new bar and see all the new capabilities listed below, or click on the low bar to see the capabilities with a low level of maturity. I've also taken the decision to create a roadmap chart. This is showing all of the courses of action associated with each of our capabilities. Again, this information is being pulled automatically out of Enterprise Architect. I can hover over any of these and see the start and end dates. That information is coming from the EA model and the custom properties that we have set up in that model. If any of these properties is changed in Enterprise Architect, these graphs and charts are dynamic, so they will automatically update. Just to show you another couple of nice diagrams that can be created. This one is a landscape diagram showing the business processes nested inside their business functions. And again, it's quite nice and interactive. We can open and close the functions and focus in on the bits that interest us. We also have a nested pie chart here. Again, nice and interactive. The center of the pie chart shows the different business areas within Flower Power. So we can click, say, on sales and marketing, and then the green elements are showing the business processes within sales and marketing. We can click to focus on one of those processes, and then we can see the roles and departments involved in that process. We can click back in to go and look at another area of the business and examine that in more detail. So as you can see, these graphs and charts are nice and interactive, less technical in terms of notation, and can help our stakeholders to really understand all of the capabilities that we currently have within our business architecture and interact with that very easily as well. So that's the end of my presentation today. Hopefully it's provided you with an insight into the support that Enterprise Architect, ArchiMate and BPMN can provide for business architecture, and also the advantages of displaying these models and sharing them through the Prolaborate dashboards. If you'd like to learn more about ArchiMate or BPMN techniques, Hippo Software has a wide range of training courses and public webinars that you can attend. We're running some public webinars next month in October, so I'd invite you to visit our website to obtain additional information on that. And I'm now very happy to take any questions that you may have.
Yeah, thank you, Gillian. Thank you so much. There are a couple of questions popping up, and we are pasting those questions to Slack because it has some details in it. So
That is just fine.
to
I'm
make it,
happy
yeah,
to pop over to Slack and to start
okay,
answering any detailed
yeah, to
questions
make it,
as well.
yeah, I'll ask you some couple of simple questions for you to address here. So, how do you see the relationship between courses of action and the world of project management? From Martin Sharp.
Thank you, Martin. I think it's really about taking specific capabilities and thinking strategically about where you want your business to be in the near and longer future. So it's about addressing the tactical plans that you have for improvements to capabilities, and also satisfying your longer term desire to, increase your business turnover, for example, by improving capabilities that you currently have.
Okay, thank you. And another question is, did you create MDG in the same project or repository as the project itself? Like, do you create, maintain, public, and then use the MDG in the same repository
So
from
yes,
ArchiMate?
I used to in the past think it was better to have the MDG in a separate repository, just to keep it, those technical details all separate from the model. So they could certainly be created in a separate model if you prefer. But more recently, I've been inclined to put the MDG just into a separate root node within the same repository. And my thinking behind that is that if I'm working for a client or customer, that they won't lose that information. They'll know exactly where that MDG information is held. They'll be able to find and update it more easily if it's in that same single repository. And it works perfectly well doing it that way as well. Um, Obviously, you would want to test it in isolation before applying the MDG to your proper project, but you can even create some test diagrams down in the MDG area and use them for testing purposes. But yeah, I'm more inclined to do that now. I like to have everything actually in one repository, including the meta model, is there in that same repository as well, and the standards and guidelines in that repository too, so that everything is in one place. People don't have to go off to find documents or models elsewhere.
Thank you. There are a couple of requests from the participants regarding your slides and the EA model that you've been publishing, and all those requests have been pasted in the Slack so that you can share if you wish and you can take the conversations forward. And the rest of the questions are also pasted in the Slack channel. So please take a moment to answer those questions in the Slack, Gillian, after this session.
Fantastic. I will definitely do that. And I look forward to having a dialogue with anyone who was interested in the content of the presentation. That's wonderful. I'll move over to Slack now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gillian, for the wonderful session. Audience, thanks for your time and attention. If you have any remaining questions, please feel free to continue the discussions on our Slack channel where the speakers and the team will be available to provide further answers. The next session starts in 30 minutes by Phil Chedley in the topic Getting Government of Jersey Started with Enterprise Architect. See you all there soon. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.